Welcome to the place where we gain knowledge through the lens of creativity. I am Aaron Dworkin, and this is Artful Science. Thanks again for joining me here on Artful Science. Today's show is Dance and Technology, Another Kind of Blue. And our guest is David Middendorp, who is the world-famous choreographer and founder of the dance group Another Kind of Blue. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So, I thought I'd just start off because, here at Artful Science, right, we're looking at a lot of science issues, technology, STEM issues, but kind of from this artistic point. And you're literally operating at the intersection of the arts and technology. But first, the dance piece. You're a choreographer. So what about dance? What's the power of dance? Why do you connect with it? Why is it your main kind of source of speaking and communicating?
Yeah, I always feel that dance is a very good language to talk in atmospheres and emotions. And that's, I think it's something very unique to us, like people. Our way of movement is very expressive, and for me, it's a very good way to show the human side of things.
Gotcha. And was there a point, like early on in your life when you were a child, where there was that connection? You either experienced something or you saw a performance that kind of created that initial aha moment for you that was like, dance is it for me?
No, it was just something that I think that always I felt in myself whenever I heard music. First, I did lots of sports, and I noticed that whenever I was doing a sport and there was music in the background, I started to use the music as almost a driving force. So I think then I, at some point connected that to, okay, actually dance is the thing I want to do.
Awesome. So now kind of bringing it to that connection, right? So you've got dance. Dance is amazing. It's this incredible art form and discipline. Why connect it with science? How did that come about?
Yeah, so one idea I often have is that people see them as opposites. Like you have like technology on one side, and then you have maybe culture or dance on the other side. But for me, I think within technology, you can basically almost see the soul of humanity, if you want to say it in that way. Like we would only make weapons because we have a murderous, evil, dark side in us. And we only make planes because people had a dream of flying. I think in technology, you basically see our hopes, dreams, and fears. And I think that's something that very much interests me. I think in that way, technology is maybe our most important cultural sign as a species. And for me, that makes it very logical to combine it also with culture and with a language like dance that is very well suited for me to explain, like I said, like a feeling or a more general concept.
Gotcha. Well, it's absolutely fascinating. So you have some projects related to this. You have this project Airman. Can you kind of talk and share a little bit about that with our audience, and how on earth you came up with the idea of connecting dance with drones specifically?
Yeah, so many years ago, I actually started with this idea, and the basic starting point was basically to make a kind of ultimate duet between technology and humanity or a person. And for me, a duet meant not one thing that's pre-programmed and just goes its way, and then you learn a dance and you put them together. So what I want to end up with is basically see how close we can get with technology to something that's close to a free will. But I know, yeah, so what I wanted to end up with is basically a duet partner that makes up its own choices as a duet partner. And I thought, okay, how can I get there in many, many steps? And how do I want it, what form do I want it to have? So a choice I made early on was, okay, what do I want to represent technology? And then I took a drone. But then I thought, okay, it would be much better if that drone can be a group of drones that as a group, they can also express something. So the thing I wanted to work towards is a group of drones that can basically all together form a human shape, a human figure. And that human shape, I in the end want to be able to dance with a dancer of flesh and blood, let's say. So I knew that's kind of a complicated project. So I like step by step, I'm basically working towards the goal where they're kind of equals. And Airman is a well, we got quite a long way in that not all the drone choreography is choreographed. There is a big part where they just follow the dancers. So there's a dancer that can improvise, and there's like a human figure made out of drones that follows the improvisation of the dancer. So that's kind of a first step for me towards free will, because it's not completely fixed yet.
Right.
So the next step would be have an AI basically decide how to react to a person, which would be even more free. Yeah.
Wow, that's extraordinary. And so basically you're able to program the drones to be able to respond to the dancers' movements?
Yes.
So they're not even following a prescribed pattern. They're literally being able to respond in real time.
Yeah, so there's certain parts in the choreography that they have like fixed choreography that is just set, but there's also parts that are not set where they just have to follow or react to the dancers.
Right. Wow. Well, it's truly, truly extraordinary. So one of the things I'm thinking, right, from this arts perspective, anytime it seems that we do new things in the arts, which is, of course, how we thrive, there's always kind of a subset from artists who are like, yeah, no, who push back against that change. They think it takes away from the core art or the pure art or historical art. Have you experienced any of that from any parts of the sector at all? And if so, has that impacted your work at all?
Yeah, well, my thoughts about that is that I can also enjoy dance that is very simple, but to do dance without technology, I think it's nearly impossible. You would basically have to do it naked in the middle of the forest. And even then, how people got there and the food they ate is full of made by technology. They're probably paid by a bank, by a whole system that is technology. So even if you just want to show pure dance, which I think by itself is already pretty hard because even costumes are part of technology. So for me, it's strange to say, okay, at this certain moment we call it pure dance, and at this certain moment it's yeah, too much. I do try to make the technology like a integrated part in the performance, where it's not just to show the trick, like, okay, look, we can make the drones do something interactive. Now, for me, it needs to have a reason. So yeah, I think as long as that's there, I think yeah, technology can be a very strong force to help tell a story or be a subject of a story. And I think dance and technology, yeah, they have quite a good long relation. Like even point shoes are yeah, a technology to make people look more weightless. So yeah,
Right.
I
Yeah, yeah, it's so true that it's been incorporated in so many ways.
yeah,
And just after so much time, people don't view it as technology. So kind of
exactly.
taking that actually, and unfortunately, we're just about out of time, but I wanted to at least ask this last question. So taking that into the future, right? So say 10 years from now, and thinking about not just your work, but in the field, where do you see dance and technology? Do you see it more widespread? Are there others doing similar work to you? Where do you see things down the road about 10 years?
Yeah, I just have a personal view. I can't speak for others, of course, but for me, what is interesting is because people sometimes ask me like, do you at some point want to take out the human factor? And I don't. I really don't. I think at least for the foreseeable, but probably for a long time still, I think people on stage is something that is very, very valuable. That excites me. But yeah, putting that and integrating it more with technology to be able to tell better stories, I think is something that many people are using already and will use even more. And yeah, for me, that's a future that I'm very excited for.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it's truly extraordinary work that you're doing. And I think not only applicable, obviously, in dance, but that all of our disciplines in the arts would be able to benefit from and evolve through.
Yeah.
So, well, David Middendorp, thank you for helping us gain knowledge through the lens of creativity here on Artful Science.
Thanks very much for having me.